Aloha and welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about documentation. We're going to specifically talk about the physical and logical network documentation that you need to do. So network documentation, that's the collection of records that document a network's hardware, software, and configurations. You got several different types here. You got physical network diagram. That's going to be a representation of the network's physical topology. So if it's a star network, you can have your node and your the different types of endpoints that are on there. You've also got floor plans. So floor plans are going to be something, think of the video game Among Us, where you've got, room and room, you have like little boxes that, show the room. It has, different, equipment in it. And, that's something you can think of as a floor plan. We've all seen it, blueprints, floor plans, that kind of thing. We've got rack diagrams, and that's a graphical representation of the equipment in a structure that's used to house IT equipment, like server racks. We have wiring diagrams, and that's a graphical representation of connections between server rack equipment and IDF and an MDF. You don't know IDF and MDF, but IDF is an intermediary distribution frame, and MDF is a main distribution frame, and that has to do with the big network rooms basically in a building. So in a large building, you'll have these intermediate ones, like let's say on each floor, and then a main one. So these are essentially where network connections come in and go out to the different rooms in the hall. Then we've got site surveys, and site surveys are the documentation generated by a site survey. We talked about site surveys before. And then we've got logical network documentation. So we've got different types here. We've got logical network diagrams. That's going to be a text-based documentation that's used to record a network's logical topology. You've got baseline configuration, and that's a node's initial configuration at the time you deploy it. Then you've got standard naming conventions. That's going to, that's the use of consistent naming schemes or conventions for computing resources. You don't want routers named like cat or dog and things like that. You want a logical, naming structure so that as you add systems, the naming is going to be, pretty much, obvious. If you've got a large building, you can have like, first floor, second floor, third floor routers or wireless access points, things like that. So you name it, floor one WAP, floor two WAP, floor three WAP, things like that. So you can, just stick with a standard, naming convention in that sense. And then we've got IP schema, and IP schema is using consistent IP addressing plans or schema for network resources. So you want to keep, your nets and your subnets in good shape. You don't want to be using vastly different networking conventions in there. So that's pretty much it for this section. Know that you've got physical and logical network documentation. You can overlay them too in doing in putting all this together. And remember that you're going to need to update this stuff as time goes on, as situations change, as your network infrastructure changes, as you add equipment or remove equipment. You need to be updating these documents. So these are going to keep you informed as to what you have in your in your network. So don't think of it as a dead document. It's a living document. You need to be updating this over time. And that's it for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Aloha.